Hello, and welcome to another BZPower set review. I am BZPower reporter and elemental master of procrastination, Xccj, and today we are reviewing set 70624, Vermillion Invader, from the Ninjago line. While the Ninjago movie coming out later this year is getting a lot of excitement, there was still one last Masters of Time series released this winter, and that's what this set comes in. Has a nice red background, very similar to previous Ninjago themes. But up in the corner, we get two ninjas, Kai and his sister Naya. It's kind of disappointing that she has to share it with her brother, but they're definitely two important characters in this series. But this set happens to feature Zane, and he's going against two other Vermillion warriors. On the top of the box, you can see there's Slackjaw, Commander Ragmuck, and then Zane himself in his new outfit. So pretty cool. You have the Hands of Time logo down here, and a nice action shot of the characters in a swamp. You have a little tank vehicle here with some catapults, so that looks interesting, and a little scenery piece in the corner. The back of the box shows off a different view of the vehicle. Shows these catapult things apparently house a lot of snakes, and that you can launch them, and then Zane can hide back here. It also shows the forward time blade, which is one of the 4 collectibles for this series. Ninjago always has to have his collectibles, so this set includes one of them. And Zane's here to retrieve it. So this set contains 313 pieces and cost $29.99 USD. So it's definitely a medium-priced Ninjago set. And it happens to be one that has a villain-themed vehicle. So let's take a look and see what's inside it. And here we have 313 parts, plus a few extras. So we have a lot of primarily black and red. This seems to be the Vermillion color scheme, and since there's only one major vehicle, that kind of makes sense. There are a couple of new style pieces here. First, you have this metallic gray cocoon piece. This was first released in a couple of different colors in the Galaxy Squad sets, but it comes again here. You have 4 of them, and they can be combined into this one single sphere. And apparently this is the projectile that the cannon vehicle uses. That's cool. You also have this Hero Factory blade, but it's in this nice new kind of bronze color. It's really nice. It's different from a lot of other things, but nice and shiny. And I believe this is exclusive to this line of Ninjago sets. So pretty cool. Also in that color is this weapon piece. You get this black spike piece. That's fairly uncommon, but you get a couple of them here. You also get these 2x2 red wedge pieces. They're not super uncommon, but they're fairly new, so it's cool to get more of these to add to your collection. Back for the snakes again, you have a new snake mold. It has a pin over here, so this can connect to things. And a nice viper snake head. It's kind of a cool element, and it appears in some of the other Ninjago sets. Again, with the snakes, you have this axe blade with a snake emblem here. Again, another pin. And then you also have this fin piece in a dark metal gray. And I believe this is new in this color as well, so pretty cool. Overall, a lot of interesting parts, but now let's see what they put together. And here is the full Vermillion Invader set in its entirety. You have the main vehicle here, a little landscape piece, 3 minifigures, some extra weapons and snakes, as well as a few extra pieces. First off, we have Zane. This is the only iteration of Zane that appears in the Hands of Time sets. He comes with a new outfit. It includes some computer screen right there on his chest. He has a new headpiece. Has some cracks along the top of his head. That's probably because his character gets damaged early in the television series and has to go some unexpected maintenance. So it's kind of cool to see here. On the back, instead of an alternate head, he has a little circuitry there, as well as his ice symbol underneath the armor. So that's cool. He also contains the forward time blade that lets him jump forward in time. It has this kind of bronze and green color scheme. He holds it underneath like that. It's definitely a cool, interesting weapon, and the show makes good use of its power, so that's nice. And it's the one collectible in this set. So the interesting thing here is that Zane is exclusive to the set. He doesn't appear in any of the other ones. So that's definitely a major draw for picking this one up. Next we have Slackjaw. He's a pretty standard Vermillion warrior. He has some snake details on his torso. The new helmet has these trans-red snake bits out the top. He has two faces, kind of a standard one with two eyes and fangs, while as the back one of the eyes has kind of disappeared into the fang, and a giant snake showing up on his back as well. The history of the show has the Vermillion Warriors, instead of being just snake figs, they're actually a whole bunch of individual snakes that come together to form a single character. So that's why he has all these detailed snakes around him. And this allows the same Vermillion snakes to build up into minifigures or even full vehicles, which I suspect this one is like. So he's a standard fig, but good army builder. He also comes with this new sword piece in gunmetal gray and red. Pretty fancy design there. Finally, we have Commander Ragnmuk. He is one of the special Vermillion warriors who get some speaking roles in the show. He comes with this big bulky armor and a similar kind of helmet, but no trans-red snakes there. He does have the snake blade on his axe. If we take off the armor, he has similar snakes on his torso on the front and the back, so it's really detailed. And his head also has two expressions, although they're not quite as distinct as the other character. But overall, he makes her a menacing bad guy, even if he is a little dull-witted on the show. Next up, we have this landscape piece. It's not very substantial. It has two foliage pieces here, this thing here, and a little tower. You can see this is on a hinge, so it falls over quite easily. I wasn't quite sure what it was at first. It seems a little bit flimsy to be some sort of like guardhouse, but that's not the case. It's actually a target, so it's supposed to be hit and fall down real easily. So that kind of works. The main cause of disappointment is the use of the same brown wedge piece here. So it's the same element flipped over, and this is the right wedge piece, so we don't get one of the left ones. So I'm always a little bit annoyed when sets do that, and that way you can't make anything symmetrical with these pieces. The main thing, though, is the Vermillion Invader tank. It shows up briefly in the show when the Vermillion Warriors are laying siege to the ninjas' headquarters. It's an interesting design for sure. It has a lot of neat angles. You have some angles here where you have these two blade pieces and armor angling out. And then from the side you have some nice angles just getting the tread to work. I especially like the layering that they do with these fins. The top two fins have stickers on them, which are a little bit of a pain to put on, but overall they fill in the space nicely and have this nice layering effect, so it feels like there's a lot more substance there than there really is, which is a nice trick. You also have some stickers on these curved slopes, again showing the Vermillion snakes. So everything red in this set, I guess, is supposed to be an actual snake, like these snake heads here. So the whole vehicle is made up of these little Vermillion snake characters, and they come together to create a siege weapon. So that's kind of a cool aspect of the show, and they do a good job with the set to make sure it follows that storyline. As a vehicle, it has a nice movement on the tread. Some of the other Ninjago vehicles that have had giant treads like this tend to get stuck a little bit, but this one seems very mobile. And it also has a little wheel on the back to help it stabilize. One of my early concerns was there doesn't seem to be a cockpit where the snake characters can drive it. But there's a panel here that you can slide up, and there's some plates here, so you can put one of the snake characters on it. And the other side also has another panel that comes up for the other snake warrior. There, now they're both riding the vehicle. It's not the most substantial area for them to drive the vehicle from. And considering the vehicle is basically one giant snake thing, I guess it doesn't really need a driver per se. But it's still an interesting design, and at least the characters have somewhere to drive around on. It doesn't really have any action features like stud shooters or flick fire missiles, but what it does have is these two catapults on the end. You can just pull back and release, and the pods can be sent flying. They have an anti-stud connection here, and there's a stud here, so if you want to, you can connect them, but they won't be sent flying that way. The egg fits nicely in the claw piece here, and you can just pull back and launch it. And second one, woohoo! And the object is to hit this panel right here and knock it down. Woo! So that's actually a pretty good action feature. The catapults work pretty well. They're not going to launch the orbs very far, but it still gives enough of an action. And the base here is large enough that you can reasonably hit it with these projectiles. So it's definitely one of the more fun action features I've seen in a set recently. As for the projectiles themselves, they're these orb things, and inside we have 3 red studs. I was expecting them to break apart and the studs to scatter, because in the show this is a way to release some of the Vermillion snakes to higher ground and have them turn into people and attack the ninjas. But that doesn't really happen here. These don't really break apart that easily. But what is cool is when you shake them, make a rattling sound like, say, a rattlesnake. So when you have both of these eggs in their launchers and you're driving it around, sounds a bit like a rattlesnake. I'm not sure if that was intentional or not, but I like how it turned out. One minor concern is that the vehicle doesn't quite have a distinct look to it. Previously, when Ninjago has done the snake characters, which they've done twice before, their vehicles have a very distinct snake head or something like that built in. That very much shows that this is a snake-driven vehicle. But besides the stickers showing the little snake heads on it, this doesn't really look like anything. It's just kind of a big catapult. However, the building techniques to get all these nice angles on here, as well as the nice action feature, turn out really well. So I can forgive it for not having a snake-like look. And either way, it gives the villains something to ride around with to go against the ninjas for a change. Woohoo! Well, thanks again for watching another BZPower set review. A big shout out to LEGO for donating this set to us so we could do a review of it. But with that said, all the thoughts and opinions in this review are entirely my own and not endorsed by LEGO. You can read some more details about this set by checking out the full picture and text review on BZPower.com. Make sure to like and subscribe to the BZPower YouTube channel and stay tuned for even more LEGO set reviews, including more Ninjago sets. Thanks for watching. Pew!